Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I bring you the unboxing of a Netgear switch, the GS308E. This is a Gigabit Ethernet switch, but this one is managed. You can set VLANs, quality of service and other things. Just let's look into it. Okay, here we have it. Outside on the box we have this pretty picture, and here on the back we have some features. VLAN support for traffic separation, quality of service, denial of service prevention, network monitoring and bandwidth control, IGMP snooping for multicast performance, and energy efficient Ethernet support, optimized power savings, loop detection, troubleshoot connection via the cable test. It brings the software to test the cable. And here are some features of this model. They all have the same thing, except this one is not Gigabit and the one I have on my hands is Gigabit. So the main objective of this is to create separate LANs in your office, at your house. This is a 8-port, by the way. This is a 8-port Gigabit, and it's very low power when you compare it to a industrial switch or a bigger brand switch. I'm just gonna try to get some focus over here. See if we can, yeah, here we go. So it's alpha amp at 12 volts. That's 6 watts, which is amazing. 6 watts for one of these. If you buy an industrial one, it's gonna be hundreds of watts. Even with the 8 ports, it's gonna be about 100 watts, something like that. So this is very energy efficient, and it comes with a 3-year warranty from Netgear, which is always pretty nice. So let's open it up. See if I can get cut without destroying anything. How does it open? Like this. Okay. See if I can show you everything. Okay, it's probably manuals. I always like to give a look at the manuals because sometimes they bring important information that people completely ignore, and sometimes the device has a feature and you don't know because you didn't look at the manuals. Now this looks like a quick installation guide. Okay, we stick with English. No, just a small representative of the network. There's also a 5-port model. Okay, it comes with an app. I wonder if we can control the switch through the app. Create an account. Tap, run, camera scan. That's very nice. Maybe you can control it from an app. That's very interesting. Everything these days is cloud connected, so well, connected to switch web. It's just a small representative what you can do. And here, very important information. The default IP is this one: 192.168.0.239, and the password. Default password is password right here at the bottom. So we don't have to look on the web. The manual brings it all. Let's look at the device. This is full metal. This is it's kind of an industrial grade because the metal usually it's better to dissipate heat. And here we have it. Small LED for power, the 8 ports, and a factory reset switch here. Factory reset. Okay, if both are lit, as in here the lightning, if both LEDs are lit in each port, that means 1000, that means the Gigabit. And if one on the left is 100 megabits, if only on the right 10. So left 100 megabits, right 10 megabits, both of them 1 gigabit. A simple way of representing the speed. And here we have it, just security lock feature. It comes with the holes so you can hold it. Oh, the password is also here at the bottom. No big hassle there. Pretty neat, pretty heavy. I think the unit is about half a kilo. Speaking in kilograms, yeah, 508 kilograms. Grams. So half a kilo. So I'm gonna turn it on and see so we can find interesting things on the software. Well, I almost forgot. We didn't look at everything inside the box. There's some other stuff inside. Yes. Oh, screws for the wall. And a very small power supply. This is my size, like 2 thumbs. Very small. Netgear use only how many amps? Let me see if we can get some fruits in here. Not gonna be easy. Just gonna have to take my word for it. Okay, so we have alpha ham, 12 volts alpha ham Netgear. Okay, now we're gonna switch it on. Okay, I've just installed the Netgear app. I've connected to my network. I didn't do anything on the device yet. I didn't touch it. I just connected to the network and installed the app. And I had to create an account here. As you can see, it appears here as available. So I'm gonna do add device. Okay, forget that. That's one. Okay, will be replaced. Yes, please. Adding the device. Let's see how long it's taking. Okay, let's go to view devices. I'm doing this through the app. I didn't connect anything, laptop to the device. I haven't touched it yet. Let's just get something. Yes, I've connected up. So this is the local network you got from my internet router. So it's my internet, that's my local IP address, and this is the web interface. And from here we can go to the web interface. Should see about what we have: project name, serial number, MAC address. Okay. Now, what else can I do with it? Nothing else. Expecting more from this app. Okay. We're just gonna connect it to the network and connect a computer and see what's inside. Okay. Now we're in the computer. I've already placed the IP address that I saw on the Netgear app on my browser, and I did the login, and we're gonna see what's inside of it. Okay, first start. The normal menu here on top. System, VLAN, KOS, quality of service, and help. Under system we have management, maintenance, monitoring, and multicast. One good idea is always to check the firmware version of a new device. I already did that. Here on the Netgear, I placed my model here and came up with these firmwares depending on the region where you live. There's some different firmwares. Just a quick notice: if you click here, nothing happens. You have to go to the release notes, and on the release notes you have the download link. So just if you don't get desperate if you can't find it, because it's on the release notes, the download link. So I was struggling to find the link. Just want to share this information with you because you might end up here in a dead end trying to get the latest firmware. So there is a newer firmware other than this one that it's already on the device. So switch name, if you can give it, you want to give it a name. Port status, just to tell you if it's up, if it's down. I have one port connected. Pardon me. The link speed, it's Gigabit. Flow control, if it's enabled or disabled, max MTU. Loop detection, I recommend enabling this. For example, if you have another switch in your house and you connect two cables to the other switch from this one, it could create a loop. So it's always a good idea to have this enabled, because it will disable one port to avoid network loop. I'm not going to touch any configuration right now, but switch management modes. There's also an app. For your computer. I didn't install it yet. I think it's for the computer, where you can manage some of the settings. But if this is a web device, I don't think that's too much apps. That's just my opinion. Under system, we also have maintenance. That's passwords, device reboot, tick the box and press apply. Default settings, that's a factory default. Firmware update. I did do a check on this one, and when you enter loader mode, all the other options disappear. So once you do this, if you don't want to upload the firmware, you have to do a reboot for it to come back to these menus, because otherwise you're only going to see a small interface with the firmware and the loader file and nothing else. So you have to do a reboot in case you don't want to update the firmware. Save configuration. This is to download the configuration of your current settings of the switch, and restore. It's the opposite. If you want to restore the configuration. Monitoring. Here you have the bytes sent and received for each one of the ports, and the CRC error packets. If you start to get error packets, you can monitor that over here. Mirroring. Well, this is usually done for monitoring network, where in one port you can tell, for example, port number 3, you're going to tell it, well, everything that is going through this, I want it to mirror to this port here. So this is usually for auditing. So use this with careful and be responsible when doing this. This is if you want to snoop the network and sniff the network and see what's going on, and detect if you suspect something's going on your network and you want to try to identify it, something weird, and you can use this feature. Cable tester. Switch, in theory, it can tell you if a cable is broken and at what distance, which is pretty nice in my opinion. Multicast. If you're using this switch to pass packets from, for example, IPTV service through one of these switches, leave this on. And depending on the service that you have hired and the technology of the service, you may have to try to find some information about it. If it's VLAN 1, I don't know if it has its own VLAN. Usually it has. If it needs any of these, well, usually you start with these ones and play around with the other settings. I don't know if it's going to be needed, if you're going to need a VLAN ID for it to work properly, but depends on your service. So just for you to know, usually it's good to have this enabled. If for some reason it works well with disable, well, you solve your problem. But usually to work well, usually you need to have this enabled. But like I said, depends on your service. VLANs. Pardon me. The main reason I bought this switch. I'm going to enable it. There's a warning here. So there's very simple information. So I have basic port VLAN groups 1 to 8 or all. So no big hassle over here. I'm gonna also enable this one. That's my VLAN identifier, and as you can see here, I only have one VLAN created, and it's available for all the 8 ports. But we're going to this one. It's much interesting. Also VLANs, port ID. Let's go to advanced. Advanced is always better. And here, VLAN configuration. As you can see here, I only have one VLAN, and it's attributed to all the 8 ports. I'm going to do VLAN 2. I'm going to press add, and now I have another VLAN. Let's see if it takes. I'm going to VLAN 100. I can put, I think it's 4,000 something the limit of the number of VLANs. So I'm going to put 1,000. Go ahead. Yeah, okay. So I have 4 VLANs right now. VLAN membership. What I'm going to tell is which VLAN belongs to each port. Do you see this U? I don't know if you understand the concept of VLANs, but I'm going to try to explain it in a very simple way. To this port, I can send all the VLANs tagged. As you would normal, you could not have like 3 or 4 networks connected to the same port and having them working in a normal switch, in a normal situation. So what it does, then on the switch, I'm going to say, I'm going, for example, a firewall. I have all these VLANs from a firewall. And I say, I have my Wi-Fi network, I'm going to have my home network, I'm going to have my TV network. And I tell them, this port is going to work on tags because my firewall is going to send all the packets with the tags of the whole the VLANs here. But I'm going to say, let me see here, number 2. Oh, it didn't, I'm not applying, so example 100. So I'm going to receive all the tagged VLANs here from my router, but here I'm going to put this VLAN untagged. So in this untagged, I can connect the devices that I want to work on the VLAN 2 that the other device is distributing. So this way you could have one port with all the VLANs and then distribute the same each one of the VLANs, but untagged, so it would allow you to connect the other devices on the network, because the other devices are, well, so to speak, stupid, and they don't have the tag functions, depending on the device, usually a computer or a smartphone or whatever you want to share information. But okay, we're gonna keep on going. And PVID is the default. This is the default VLAN for each one of the ports. They always need a default value, and this is the one. Going along, quality of service. Port base, well, port number 2, I want it to be medium priority, low priority, or you can try to do this. It gives you a warning because the SCP based, I actually don't know this protocol, but I believe you. It looks nice. Rate limit. Well, if you have some abusers at your house, you can say maximum bandwidth you're gonna have 4 megabits upload, and well, let's say download. Ingress, that's download, upload, and if that's not good enough, you can have this broadcast filtering. So let's see what we have here. This is like a storm control. If there's a broadcast for some reason, usually broadcast is like someone broadcasting to the network with a lot of bandwidth, and what you're gonna do, you're gonna basically limit that to a certain bandwidth, because it can actually lower the bandwidth on your network. So explore a little bit about this this bandwidth. If you have a gigabit network, it's going to be hard to hit a limit on this storm control, because it should in theory it's pretty high, the bandwidth you have. So next you have help, no big deal, just support information and registration, and that's about it.